second thing that we have here is the how. By the way, what is the number one thing that came out of the reason why we are here today? Most people said, I want a strategy, I want a systematic process, right? Now, that is what we call a strategy, Now, what we're going to teach you guys in the next 12 days, in the next 10 days, is the following. You know when you have a screw and you need to put a screw into the table, right? Okay, you check out the whole situation, and what do we do as men? We go and take a butter knife, and then we screw it in. What happens? You screw up the butter knife, you maybe twist it a bit. It takes far more energy, okay? And if you're married or in a serious relationship, you damage the relationship with your spouse, men. My butter knife, not my butter. Okay? What we teach you and what we will be teaching in the next 10 days, the next 7 days, is assess the situation. Okay, it's this screw, it's this big with a flat tip, and I almost see it like the Matrix. You know that one scene he goes into this room and he stops with Morpheus, and like everything opens up and just like guns, and he can pick and choose as he like. Now that is almost how this is going to be. You're going to stand in your weapon closet. You're going to look around and say, okay, cool, I want that one, and I want this one, and I want this one, that one. We take these elements, we put it together, and zzz, we put it in. We save far more energy. It takes us far less time, and I save the relationship with my wife. Happy wife, happy life. So that is what we will be teaching you. So if you're looking for that, Ernest and Maudi and Ruth and everyone else that said that, you're in the right place. Yes. So the next thing is what we call the strategy, guys. Obviously, now that you know, something that I have not mentioned that I quickly want you to play this move in your mind. Your life conditions, the reality that you have in your life right now, some of those life conditions are matching 100% with that blueprint. Who of you guys, if I can, like Maudi, anyone, who of you guys can give me an area in your life right now where you are super satisfied?
Yes.
You have one, Karen?
Yes.
And that is?
I dance.
You dance?
Yes.
Okay.
I invest a lot of time there.
Yes.
When I have a low moment, I get myself dancing.
And how many times a week or in a month would you dance?
I dance 3 to 4 times a week.
3 to 4 times a week, and that is like scheduled. You go and dance. You don't just. It's not just a boogie at home. It's we go and dance.
Private lessons and social, so I focus on the specific style of dance.
And how long have you been doing that?
In this specific genre, just over a year now.
And dancing in general? A long time, 4 years. Okay. Now, you had a certain expectation of what it will look like one day, or for when you just started, in your mind, you like that. There was a reason you started, obviously. So in your mind, you had that specific thing. And now what's happening is that life condition of, let's say, exploration, adventure, uncertainty, whatever the case, connection, significance, whatever the case might be, is equal to or even better than what you expected it would look like. And you can go into every single area in your life right now that you are really, really satisfied with, and you can say that is the case. In my life, with regards to that aspect, my life is looking similar to what I expect it was going to look like, or even better. And then when that happens, what happens? We become fulfilled, meaning it's meaningful. So I just wanted to say that as well. So going back to this, the strategies, obviously now you want to move towards your heaven, you need to understand and you need to have a strategy. Now, before we continue to move to a strategy, that is the how-tos, the number one thing that prohibits us, in my personal opinion, to make change. Yeah, you need to do this. Yeah, but I don't know how. I don't know the uncertainty. I don't know what action to take, so I'd rather not going to take any action and procrastinate. I don't know what specifically to do, so I'm not going to do it. So this is, in my mind, the number one thing that most of us struggle with. So, or that we think, this is the number one thing that we attribute our failure to. Let's rather put it like that. Now that you know what the heaven is and where you want to go, you obviously need the right strategy to get there. Obviously, if you look at yourself in the mirror and you're not happy with what you see with your physical shape and you want to get into better shape, then what happens? You need to get a strategy to get yourself into better shape. You now need to start exercising, whether it's going to be gymming, running, dancing. You need to start eating more healthy. What type of diet are you going to start to follow? Whatever the case might be, you need to start and say, this is the action I'm going to take. Now, before we continue to a strategy, just quickly give you this stat. Every single 6 months, so every 6 months in this world, in this universe, information in the world doubles. I'm going to repeat that. Every 6 months, information in this world double. So if you are having a Google search right now, in 6 months from now, there's going to be twice as much information on that specific Google search. And I mean, have you ever gone through Googling something and then go through all of the different pages that's available there? No. Now think about this. In 6 months from now, it's going to be double the information on that specific thing. That's why they call the 21st century the information age. So in my personal opinion, is the number one skill and ability we need to have, or there's two, or one of the number one skills and abilities we need to have is firstly understand what information we need to learn and how to learn that information as quickly as possible. Because the education system, Lindiwe, tells us what to learn, but they don't tell us and teach us how to learn. So I don't know about you, but nobody has ever sat me down and said, Frank, this is learning. This is how learning works. And this is how you now, for the rest of your life, going to learn all of the 12 years of knowledge. Or 16 years in my case with my law degree. 16 years of sitting behind a table and learning. We're going to teach you what to learn, but we're not going to teach you how to learn. So for the next 16 years, there we go. I don't understand how that works. So before we continue, I would like to teach you guys, or in my opinion, tell you what the concept of learning is. Because if you understand the concept of learning, what learning is, it will make learning a specific strategy far easier and make the learning curve shorter so that you can get to your heaven as quickly as possible with the right strategy, because you understand what learning is. Does that make sense? So what is learning? If we have a person here, right here, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is a person. Okay, you can see that I did major in art. Okay, that is a person. Okay. So what is learning? What is learning? Learning is the creation of relationships. What relationship? The relationship between the known, what you know in your mind, and the unknown. So if little Johnny walks in here right now and I say, hey little Johnny, and his age is 6 years old, and I tell him, what is the mathematical equation of the numerical value of 1 plus the numerical value of 1, what will be the mathematical equation of that be? And he will think, buddy, you took something this morning. But if I tell him, what is 1 pen plus 1 pen, he's going to tell me it's 2 pens. And now I can tell little Johnny that this represents a numerical value of 1. This represents a numerical value of 1. You put these two together, you get a mathematical equation of 2. Now what happens is now Johnny knows. Now when somebody tells him about a mathematical or a numerical value, he knows that a numerical value can represent anything. He now understands what numerical values and mathematical equations to a really simple extent are or is. But that's not, learning is the relationship between the known, what you know in your mind, and the unknown. Now, it's, once again, let's go back. Let's look at different religious traditions, right? Let's quickly look at, let's say, Jesus Christ. There were great teachers out there, but let's look at Jesus Christ. When he went out, did he tell his disciples, let's go and headhunt people? Did he say, let's go and recruit people? He said, let's go. He told ordinary fishermen to become fishers of men. So fishermen understood the concept of throwing out bait, something will come, latch on and reel it in. Cool, I now understand the concept of discipleship in one sentence. Because they could connect the known with the unknown. If you guys have watched that movie Dancing with the Wolves with Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner, and then he stands there at a certain stage, he stands there and the two guys come trotting down on the horses. And they come down, they get off their horses, they walk to him and he doesn't really know what to do. He stands there and he's like, welcome guys, welcome, welcome, sit down. And these two guys walk up to him dressed in their tribal clothes and like, hey toti, toti, otati, wati. And he doesn't know what to do. And in his mind he's trying to link, whatever I was saying. He's trying to link that, the unknown, to the known. In his mind, it's like, beep, 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 404 error, file not found. Okay? Refresh. Nothing. What happens? He goes down onto his knees, he puts his hands next to his ears, and he does this, like, wah, wah, looks at them and says, buffalo, buffalo, wah, wah, buffalo. And they look at him, and one guy, it's the other guy, tatanga, tatanga. And he does this, he's like, buffalo, tatanga. And now, he now knows that tatanga means buffalo in English. They now know that buffalo means tatanga in their respective language. And now both of them now know what they did not know before. Because we do not know what we do not know. It was like me sitting in math class. I was a really good student. Like, I won't say I'm really smart, but I'm just a really, really hard worker. But math gave me problems. So I would sit in math and I would tell myself, Franco, okay, focus, you've got this. Okay, lekker. So do you guys want to know what went on in my mind at the age of 16, 17, 18? Or maybe you don't know. So this was me, Franco, sitting in math class at the age of 15, 16, 17. And I'm like, sorry sir, what does Azayiwa mean? Franco, it's easy. All you do is you take and I would sit there and I would tell myself, Franco, focus now, you've got this. You hear it? Okay, focus, focus, focus. And what happens again? My mind is trying to link the unknown with the known, trying to link the unknown with the known. It cannot make that relationship. It bounces back and forth, trying to find something, trying to find a file that it can at least just relate to. My mind cannot find something, and what happens? It puts your mind out of a state of learning. And what would happen is Franco's mind will wander off, and I will think, what iron am I going to hit on the 5th hole after school because I used to play golf? And my mind will wander off, and before I know it, the bell would go off, and I need to go home, and I had to go and figure out whatever was being said to me. And now I need to go into, and I need to try to figure this out. And I had to realize that it wasn't me that was stupid in math or bad in math. Is the person that taught me math, the people that taught me math, did not use creative or innovative enough references or relationships to be able to link the unknown with the known that I had in my mind. Well, maybe they had to become a bit more creative with my relationship linking. But you can learn very difficult concepts when you understand the relationship between the known and the unknown, and that you need to create that relationship. You can learn very difficult concepts if you understand that. The greatest teachers in the world that you've read, the greatest storytellers in the world are people that's able to, I mean, if you go look at the people, the religious tradition teachers and all of them, they used, what do they use? Stories, metaphors, parables, similes, whatever the case might be. They connected something that you did not know that they wanted to convey to you. They took something that you knew, they connected the two and made a connection for you. A relationship. That's why they are so incredibly good. Because of this. Now, once you understand this, you can learn any specific skill and strategy that you need quicker to get to your heaven. Does that make sense? Now you might ask me, Franco, cool, now that I understand that I will need to learn a specific strategy, I now understand what is the concept of learning, but now please do tell me, what is the definition of a strategy? So, when I understood this concept, it blew my mind. When I understood this concept of a strategy, because Ernest, what did we speak about the whole time? A structured approach, a structured system, a process, right? This is what came through the whole time. Why are you here? What's the reason you're here? Well, I need a structured approach. I need a system. I need a strategy. Well, then, if we want a strategy, we first need to understand what a strategy is. And a strategy is a really simple definition. So, if I were you, I would write it down. It's a very specific way of organizing your resources to consistently okay, but just say consistent results. I'm just going to make it easier for you guys, and I'm just going to say consistent results. So a strategy is a very specific way. So there's, obviously guys, there's specificity to it. It's not just a random act. Okay, it's not just, oh, I'm just going to wing it. It's not, there's specificity to it. Okay, there is specificity to what, Franco? There's specificity to organization. Okay, so there's a specific way you're going to organize something, yes. What are you going to organize? Well, your resources, okay, to get a consistent result. Who of you guys have been on a diet before? None of you? None of, oh. Who of you guys have been off that diet before? Well, clearly it wasn't a really good strategy because it gave you results, but it didn't give you consistent results. And we all know you are what you repeatedly do. Therefore, excellence is not an act, but a habit. So, Let me ask you this. If I have these three elements, okay, I've got these three elements, and I move it around. I take this element, I put this element there, I take this element, I put it there, and I put this element there. Stupid example. Did I use new resources, or did I just move around what was already there? I moved around what was already there. Did I create something new? Did I create something new? Yes. If I take this and I put it there, is it a new? Is it something new? Yes. It's a practical example, really simple example, but you get the point. So now you might ask me, Franco, okay, we know that there's resources involved. We know there's organization of those resources, and we know that that organization needs to be specific. So, some of us have a really good strategy in having too much month at the end of the money. The thing that will determine, now let me ask you this, do you think if you, with the current financial situation that you have right now, with the income that you get right now, do you think that you will get a better outcome if you just apply some basic principles of Warren Buffett's investing strategy with your current financial income? If you start to apply and structure your investments with the advice that he will give as one of the best investors in the world, do you think you'll get a better outcome? Absolutely. Did you use new resources? You just used what was already there. So, if I ask you then, Franco, but what do you speak about the resources? What resources do you refer to then? If you say that we need to organize it in a specific way, the resources, to get a consistent result, what do you mean by resources? Okay. Resources, question. Is time a resource to get the results that we want in life? Human emotion, is that a resource to get the results that we want in life? Yes. Absolutely. Can you use your body to create those certain emotions? Yes. Okay? How you communicate, how you articulate, how you persuade, well, not persuade, but how you come across, how you say something, what you say, in what order you say that specific thing, is that a resource to get the results that you want in life? Absolutely. Your imagination, is that a resource to get the results that you want in life? If you're caring enough, Ruth, loving enough, determined enough, honest enough, Ruth, will you find a way? Will you? Absolutely. So we have an infinite amount of resources already within us. It is just the way we are going to organize those resources. Because a lot of us always blame external resources, though I'm not where I am because of this and that and this and that and that. But what happens then? Okay, we just blame instead of looking at ourselves and saying we've got an infinite amount of resources already within us. Because the most successful people in the world did not have a lot of resources. They were just incredibly resourceful. So, the big kicker here, the big secret here is the thing that will determine whether you're successful in whatever endeavor it might be is just the way, not the type, but the way you're going to organize your resources internally. Because when I moved these elements around and created something new, I used what was already there and I created something new. If I am honest enough, determined enough, loving enough, and I move my internal resources around in a very specific way, I will get consistent results. We are constantly, like I said, talking about external resources. Meanwhile, we've got everything inside of us already to make it happen. If you're determined enough, you'll find a way to read a book on how to communicate better so that you can get that specific deal that you need. But if you're not determined enough to want to do that thing, once again, going back to the 80-20, you're not going to learn that specific skill. So, this is a strategy. Now, I'm going to be that person today, and I'm
now grasping that learning is by linking relatives.
Yes.
So when you say internal resources, does that now go to the emotional stuff in terms of discipline,
Absolutely.
dedication, courage? Is that what?
Absolutely. Absolutely. To think about this, let me ask you this, Ernest. Was there some time in your life where you wanted a promotion, or you wanted to buy yourself a car, or whatever, you wanted to get that specific thing, and then you just put everything and all of your ability and effort into that specific thing, and you got that? Has that ever happened to you?
No.
Okay? I can guarantee you, when that happened to you, or when you went through that process of getting that specific thing because that thing was so dear to you or valuable to you, you used all of your internal resources and all of the whatever you have to your arsenal to get that specific outcome. Am I right? Yes, because we used all of our internal resources. Because it's not, no, that I don't have enough money or not enough time, or yeah, that guy promised he's going to come through for me and he didn't. Well, you have infinite amount of resources within you. Infinite. And you don't need new things. You can just shift around what is already there. So to repeat what I said, the thing that will determine whether you're successful or not in whatever endeavor, whether it is making more money, finding your purpose, being more happy, having a better relationship with your spouse, being more healthy, it is just the way you're going to move and organize the resources that is already there. And when I realized this, I realized that I do not need more external resources. I've got everything inside of me. Because if I need a specific external resource to get to my results, I will use my internal resources to the best of my ability to acquire those external resources. But very often we just stand like this for the external resources. Do you guys understand that? So, quick little scenario, okay? Who of you guys are married or in a relationship? Okay, Michelle, okay, simple. You and your husband, you are moving. A relationship or married? Relationship. You guys are moving, like you're into a new house, and a company says, okay, you've won this whole prize, we'll take you to Mauritius and we'll move your whole house for you. You just go and have a holiday. Cool business concept, right? And obviously you tell them beforehand, like, you know, this is everything how I wanted and blah 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 blah. Okay, fantastic. You go to Mauritius, have a phenomenal time. You're so excited to get back home because you're going to move into a new place and it's going to be like set up and everything. You get back, you and your spouse, you and your partner, you guys come back, you walk into the house and everything is just thrown into the like living room. Not even in boxes, not even packaged, nothing, just blow. How will that make you feel?
Lots of words coming out of my mouth.
There will be lots of words coming out of your mouth. Now, I don't want to say Michelle again. Now, Michelle. Anne says, hey, Michelle, do not worry. I mean, this happened to me before. And all you do is you go and we're going to take this pile and we're going to take from the pile and we're going to make 5-6 categories: bedrooms, kitchen, TV room, blah 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 blah. And you guys go, you just take, oh, okay, there, and you guys just go, and before you know it, like, hey, this, I feel a lot better. My state of mind is far better. And then she's like, okay, what we're going to do right now? And Anne's like, we're going to take each of these categories, like kitchen, and we're going to divide it into more categories, like cutlery and pots and food and spices, and every single category also breaking it down into more categories. And before you know it, Michelle, like, oh my word, this is already sorted. Can you believe this? Will you be able to do that whole process faster and more efficiently when that specific situation happens to you again? Absolutely, because you've done it before. Will you? Okay, you know how to. because you've been given a specific way of organizing your resources. Now, we've got a lot of resources in our minds, but when I promise you, when we walk into our own minds, it's a bloody mess. And we expect to function in that mess. And there's been certain stuff that has been lying there for years that you haven't opened up, that you haven't checked out and analyzed and inspected from all different angles, and there's some flippin' hypodermic needles that's still lying there, and maybe a dead rat or whatever the case might be, but we expect to live an efficient, fulfilled, meaningful life, but when we walk into our minds, it's a complete chaos, it's a mess. But we will get frustrated when people leave our stuff in our living room not even packaged. You see, that is what we need to start to understand. Everything in life is just about the organization of the internal resources that you have in a very specific way to get a consistent result. That is a strategy. Franco, but where do we find these strategies? Well, you almost have to work your ass off not to see these strategies. If you want to know how to go and manage your money, go to the exclusive books and buy yourself Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. And I can promise you will know how to handle your finances, how to save, what are the different options that you have available, how many commissions you should give and how many commissions you should not give to a broker, blah, 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 blah. Simple. But I promise you, you're not going to buy that book if your mindset is not at a place where you want to read the book. And then the moment you've all been waiting for. We're going to take a break right now, guys. I'm almost finished. Who will guess what this will be? The Who. The Who.